Hey yo, what is happening guys? This is the Lightning H8 coming at you with another video. So today we are actually going to be doing a trailer breakdown of the trailer at the end of episode Ardyn's Prologue. I will not be doing a breakdown of the anime sadly. However, I will point out quite a few stuff that have caught my interest within future videos, of course. Well, this video actually just focuses on the trailer at the end. So without further ado, let's just dive straight into it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Alright, so we first start off with Ardyn on the throne of Lucis. So this is of course after the 10-year gap. This is also further acknowledged when Noctis, Prompto, Ignis as well as Gladiolus actually walk in their time skip attire. So of course he was waiting, but then we actually go to a time jump from the crystals to all of that, to the crystals, Luna's death, and it continues going on and on and on until before we met Noctis. So it continues on with Ardyn actually walking up into a somewhat festival, and then he simply says, "Let the fireworks begin." This is a clear reference to actual carnage, and also with a festival there are fireworks, so it's a very fair play of Ardyn actually indicating the invasion of him alongside with Ifrit, which I'll talk about right now. As you can see, it continues to the battle sequence, so we see a little bit of the combat. Now there's a few stuff I want to point out in this. First off, we see there is going to be quick time events with the triangle, of course, but then we see his weapon, which is the Royal Arms. I'm sure we'll get more. And then we also have the life bars with Ifrit as your partner, and of course it looks like Ardyn's healing himself, and we have wipe out the enemies. Now I really hope from that map we get a bigger area to actually explore, and it looks like Ardyn does a lot of damage with his combat system. It looks a lot like Ignis's from episode Ignis, with the times in the damage by 1.2, but that hit over there with a quick prompt, as you can see there's actual points in the corner and there's 9,000, so I guess there's like a somewhat mini game. After that, then it goes to another quick time event with a triangle, and I think that adds to the points at the top, so I think there'll be high scores to beat. So from this we can see people are running away because they don't want to die. Very smart people. And then we see this sequence. Ardyn is using his royal arms to actually make like a shuriken type of weapon that does heavy damage. Let's see it. But then we also actually take a look at the actual weapons, and you can see that there are royal arms. On the left it looks like a flask that we can use, on the right it looks like a gun, and down it looks like you can use the Star Scourge, which may be pretty cool. I think that's a Star Scourge, but we'll see. So then we actually see the map. There is of course a camp, but also there's purple arrows which may point to different side quests maybe. And then the main objective is of course called Return of the Savior. Then we continue on from this sequence to yet another sequence, which is very interesting. So we see this guard over here trying to warn citizens, but then Ifrit actually walks by. But before that, Ardyn is there. So we know Ardyn can shapeshift, so I wonder if that'll go into play for this DLC. And I really want to see how Ifrit plays a role, because later on in the trailer we see something. So we get to use the Cerberus sniper rifle against a royal guard, which is very, very interesting, and of course that's pretty good because we barely even used it. I mean, I barely used guns. So that does a lot of damage, and of course the prompt for Y is over there, of course, for Xbox. And then right here we see the King's guards actually protecting people, except for the guy in the purple shirt for some reason. Don't see why they hit the guy in the purple shirt, but yeah, Ifrit's coming for people and they all running away, so that's pretty good. Next up we have Ardyn setting people up for something big, and it looks like it's called Dark Tornado, so that's pretty good, similar to the flask, and my man, he's powerful. Next up is of course Ravus on his iPad playing Angry Birds while all of this is happening. Not really. I think he's playing King's Knight. Or then we see my boy Ifrit destroying people for the love of it. I like it. Next up we got this. So it looks like Ardyn is fighting the freaking Guardians. Look at this, a fierce and the rogue Guardian. So we get to fight the Guardians. Hot damn, we get to fight the Guardians at a tower that we seem to actually take control of. But forget that, we are fighting the Guardians. Hot dang. We can teleport with L2. And then we're doing this. It looks like something that'll actually use the bar. Oh, it's not actually, because it's a max. So I think this is cutscene. Let's go. We are fighting the Rogue Guardian. We freaking destroyed the Rogue Guardian. Hot damn. That was amazing. We got a mana circuit, so I think we will be able to sell stuff or craft stuff within this areas, which is pretty cool stuff to actually think about. Then it cuts to black.
Somnus. That's right. Kill her. Put that monster out of its misery, just like I did.
You must live.
I'll never forgive you, Somnus.
I hate you, Somnus. I honestly do. Why would they name such a beautiful song after this man? It's disgusting. It's just ugh. But of course, oh, I hate Somnus. So Somnus is basically telling Ardyn to kill the Oracle. This could be like an alternate timeline, or possibly in the mind of Ardyn, where she is the only light that brings the Star Scourge away. But Somnus wants him to use the Star Scourge, and that's why he's telling him to kill her within his mind, just like how he did in the actual world. Ardyn looks like a freaking saint in this. God, he looks beautiful. Oh man, this man's beautiful. And then another very interesting part is when he actually, I think he does kill her because of what he said. He said, "I will never forgive you, Somnus," and he says it with tears, like tears within his his voice. You can hear the pain, you can hear the agony, and honestly, this is just a very beautiful sequence that I think a lot of people may have missed out of how heart-wrenching this is to lose a loved one. Very big stuff. But right here we see Ifrit, which is very interesting because Ifrit is actually attacking Ardyn, or looks like that, because Ardyn is also fighting Ifrit. And Ifrit is quite a high level, and all we can do is like warp strike, and then that's basically it. We fight alongside the Crown's Guard, or we fight against the Royal Guards actually, it seems like it. I don't know who we're fighting over here, it's very hard to tell, but it's called Awakening.
His people and his cursed kingdom, and burn them all to the ground!
Next up we see Vestel or Ledolus. I think this is more Vestel than Ledolus. Vestel helping Ardyn, that would make a lot of sense actually. But Ardyn is using Vestel to actually take down Somnus, but he doesn't. I think this is straight after Somnus's death, or way in the future after Somnus's death, after Ardyn escapes his exile, because you know this happens basically. I think you do fight the Royal Guards because they were attacking Ifrit, but they were also attacking you with their life bars over there. And right here we see Ardyn actually using his power of the Lucii with Meteor Strike right here. Meteor, Firaja, and Flames of Rage. These are the three stuff we will be seeing. I'm not too sure if it'll change over, but we'll see what happens. And of course we don't know what the down arrow will be. So here we have Royal Retribution, Royal Rend, and Royal Raid. I think this is all stuff we learn from this point on. Of course there's treasures and main quests. So right here you can see Ifrit just taking them out. So I think Ifrit will be just used for the limits with the Meteor Strike and all that.
Adagium in the flesh.
Then we go to the next scene, which by far is interesting itself, because of course Ardyn is facing Regis, and I think this happens before Kingsglaive, or is this yet another timeline that has changed? I'm not too sure. So right here we have a Final Fantasy Versus 13 nod, which I am happy about because that means they know what they're missing out on. So right here we actually see all the Royal Arms actually attacking to Ardyn, and he just sidesteps them and attacks them. So it looks like he's going to all be using it, and we in the like courtyard of the Citadel of Lucis, which I'm pretty happy about. And then we have to spam to get this thing off us, which is pretty cool.
Here to bring the bloodline of Lucis to an end.
And here we go. This is where we spam the actual hell out of circle. We see this, and man, I think this happens straight after Regis calls his royal arms upon Ardyn Izuni, and he creates the shield, which in Kingslave you do that. And right here again, you use it all of your might to attack him. So it looks like you are going to go up all of those stairs to the middle, or maybe you can warp strike, then he just warp strikes against you. And over here you are going to use this uppercut, I guess, and it does quite thin, and it actually makes him vulnerable. And right here we see him actually calling upon his Arminger, which actually has yet another effect that we didn't even know of up till now, and here it is.
Brother. Softness. Now, but I'm having so much fun.
Now we see Regis actually use the power of the Arminger to actually call upon Somnus, which I didn't even think this was possible, so it's kind of a surprise for all of us. So apparently he has called Somnus, so we are going to have an epic fight with Somnus to actually fight yeah, we're gonna fight Somnus, which is some hectic stuff. So Return of the Savior, we have to defeat Somnus, and Ardyn is looking at this like this is a pre-cutscene, and let's see.
To think I get the pleasure of killing you myself. Lies, fairy tales, and fallacies. All of it.
So he really wants to kill his brother, let's be honest. Pretty good stuff, but one thing I want to take a note of is the day time, and it's actually 5 p.m. So from 12 to 5 p.m. that means Ardyn was here basically the whole day trying to avenge everyone, and he's using a warp strike, and we can even see that it is doing damage. Somnus does like a second stage, or like a stage 2 awakening. This is going to be very interesting to say the least, because we are going to be fighting such a huge enemy like Somnus compared to all the others. I think the biggest we fought was Leviathan. I really do wonder if this is going to be something like that, except it's going to be more of just us. But Ardyn is talking about lies and fairy tales and fantasy. I think he is talking about that of the lives that everyone is living within Lucis, lies of people having happiness, fairy tales that everyone is going to be happiest and happy ending, and fantasies where everyone is happy, yes, but the reality is that you will suffer, just like how Ardyn did. And right here they call upon yet another big thing, and we wonder what's next after that. Well, let's just hear what is next.
Ardyn, Lucis, Kylum, I command thee to halt.
So Bahamut actually commands Ardyn, Lucis, Kylum to halt. Now what is so special about this? Bahamut is just telling him to stop. Bahamut is the one who rejected Ardyn, because of course Bahamut was in the crystal. So that means, you know, Bahamut is also to blame about this, and Ardyn himself did sacrifice so much of his light to save everyone, and Bahamut didn't even care about that. The Astrals knew about it, but no, Bahamut pushed him away. So the fact that he's saying Ardyn should stop kind of makes me angry, alright? It kind of makes me angry, and I kind of resent Bahamut, even though he's my favorite Final Fantasy summon. Damn you! Then we have a slurry of cutscenes. We have Regis over here fighting Ardyn. We have Somnus pointing his sword to Ardyn within this lily pad area. We have Era within the same lily pad area, but she seems like dying. This is Starscourge Ardyn when the Starscourge first took him over, and Bahamut actually dropping his sword to Ardyn within the Regis and Somnus and Ardyn fight.
And I do not intend to kneel before you now.
Now this was very interesting. Ardyn basically said, I do not intend to bow down to you now. That means he's referencing something from the past. So it's either he's talking to Somnus or Bahamut, because in Bahamut's case, yes, he had to bow down because he's a god. Somnus was the king, and of course he wouldn't bow down. And honestly, I feel it's more likely Bahamut. But yes guys, that is it. What I basically have from the analysis video that I have done. This is the stuff I picked up. Please let me know in the comment section down below what you guys found. If I missed anything out, I'm sure I did. Let me know in the comment section down below. Of course, this is just my thoughts, what has happened, and also with the Somnus and all that. This is all my theories, just kind of coming up with it as I go along. But please let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Share with friends because sharing is caring. Please leave a like, helps me out a lot, and most importantly, subscribe to become my fellow lightning balls. Anyway guys, that is it for this video, and as always, this is the Lightning Shade. Blaze out.